Okay, so let's get started for Facebook and Instagram. These are kind of the last of the channels because the last one, SMS, WhatsApp, third party WhatsApp, all kind of sit on SMS infrastructure. So they're all kind of the same thing. And really, all these deployments are the same way, but I just kind of want to show them in a practical aspect. Again, kind of reinforcing how easy it is to deploy this. Live chat, same way, but we will group Facebook and Instagram together for this one. So I'm going to go over to my screen and we'll get started with this one. Okay. So obviously for this one, we want our Facebook and our Instagram integrated with Go High Level. That's kind of how things work. So I have my Facebook page here and my Instagram account here integrated with my Go High Level. I'm just going to DM on my phone so that way I can use a separate account to message in. But let's go ahead and start with creating an assistant. And if you already have an assistant created, or you already have one with an active tag, you can skip this step to the implementation, but we're going to start from complete scratch. So let's go here and let's create a new assistant, and we'll call this FB and Insta AI. I'll just say sales booking, that's all, no qualifying. So that way we could keep it real simple. All right, and I'll come back when this is done. Okay, so our assistant is generated here. Let's go ahead and click into it. Great, perfect. So we have some really interesting prompting here. Now, just for reference, these are really kind of the only things you need in the prompt is the identity of the assistant. These style guardrails and response guidelines, I always say keep them the exact same as they're giving. These are torture tested, and they're kind of tried and true for both voice and chat. So super, super simple. And then really your task-based framework. Anything else that you would prompt in here can be done through knowledge, through verbiage training, through tools. So super simple stuff on there. I always recommend keep your prompt simple. I always say keep it simple. Don't AI is complicated enough. We try to do as much heavy lifting as we can to make it super, super easy for you. So you really only need to do this, and you need to do this, which is just a task-based framework. I promise you, even if you're not using this platform on AI, if you switch to task-based prompting, I promise you your model will become more focused. Just try it. Take my word for it. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one exactly as it was generated here, and we just need to do a couple things. Again, we're going to keep it really simple. So I'm not going to mess with the knowledge base. I'm not going to mess with verbiage. I'm not going to mess with any of this stuff up here. I do need to add a calendar, so we'll go here to add calendar. All right, and just to show you here, once you get here, if you don't already have calendar synced, we'll sync our calendars, which will bring them in from Go High Level. We see this one here, and I'm going to add it to my assistant. And you notice that it comes here because we just added it. So what we do is we have a test to enable to make sure that your calendar is good and active. Our integration is really good with your sub account. Just a sanity check, make sure everything's good so that you know if you need to triage later for not booking, that you know it's not the integration itself, that it could be prompt based or something like that. But even then, it usually just comes down to OAuth, which you will find in this test here. So we just try to be really proactive on making sure you know exactly what's going on. So let's go ahead and test this calendar. It's going to get our availability, and we're going to confirm or deny that this is exactly our availability. So that is my availability, and what it's going to do, it's going to create a fake contact, book an appointment with that contact. After the appointment is booked, it's going to delete the contact and appointment and verify this calendar, as you can see here. So this is an untested calendar. These are tested calendars. And so we're not done. We need to add this calendar here to the assistant, and we're good to go. So now really the last thing we need to do besides the active tag here is add some tools. So just because our AI has a calendar attached doesn't mean it can book. We need to give it the tool, the ability to go out and do the things we want. Let's go here and just add a tool. Okay, so we have a ton of pre-built ones for you. We also have different options like extraction, transfer, and removing tags, and even custom ones where you can do things like calculate distance between your location and the actual contact itself for truck rolls. There's tons of things in here, but we're going to keep it really simple. Like I said, AI is complex enough. Keep it simple. For this example, we're just going to do things for booking. All right, so we have 5 things here for booking, which is check availability, just gives the ability for the AI to check your calendar. Book appointment, gives the AI the ability to book appointments. Reschedule appointment, gives the AI the ability to reschedule appointments. Cancel appointment gives the AI the ability to cancel the appointment. And then check appointments, which gives the AI the ability to check the contact's current appointments to see which ones they already have with you and what the statuses of them are. All right, so those are added. We won't do anything else. We won't keep it. No, we're going to keep it super simple. All right, and that is pretty much it on setup, right? The only thing left is we need an active tag. And what is an active tag? An active tag is our way of differentiating what contact you want this AI to respond to. For example, you may have contacts in your sub account you don't want AI to talk with, or you may have different AI models going in your account. Like for example, us, we have a customer success, a customer support, we have sales, we have lead magnets, we have a bunch of different AIs in our account doing different things. So our way to differentiate what AI is talking to what contact and if that AI should respond at all is through active tags, which is just a tag in Go High Level. So we'll click on here. We know that we don't have an active tag by this yellow border here. We'll click here. Let's add a new tag. We'll see it down here. I'll go ahead and click onto that one. And we'll just say social tag. You can name it whatever you like. Doesn't matter. We do need to link it to this assistant, which is our Facebook and Insta AI. And then we can give it just a unique tag. I always recommend you make your active tags very unique and not one that you already have, because we will find and replace, just to make sure that every little bit is correct, even spacing, so that way the active tag is always perfect. So I always recommend when you create an active tag to do it very uniquely, just so for the differentiation of yourself, your clients, and even our system will be able to find it perfectly and make sure that the AI responds. So we'll say activate Facebook and Insta AI. It could be whatever you want. We'll click add tag here. And then all we need to do left, the only thing left we need to do is save the changes. And we see the changes are saved. We can click out of that and we can see the active tag is now on this AI. Perfect. Now we don't need to save changes. Changes are already saved for us, but we can go ahead and just click it here. Perfect. Now, how do we get this AI to talk to someone? How do we put our active tag on a contact? Super simple. We just need a simple workflow to do something like that. So if we could go here, all right, just an example workflow is you can have a very basic one like this one. This is the one from the chat widget example. Just saying when a customer replies under the reply channel live chat, add my active tag, all right, which gets the assistant active, gets them talking. You could do a more complex one where you have like a Facebook form submit where you're doing Facebook form and Messenger. Now on something like that, I would have it first because if you have it later in the workflow, Go High Level tends to process workflows a little slower than we actually process messages. We process messages very, very quickly, and that's when we check for the active tag. So if the active tag is not on the contact by the time we process the message, if the trigger to the workflow or whatever you're doing is inbound and the tag is not on it, at least in the first step of whatever workflow that you have, we won't be able to see it, and the AI will not respond. We'll read it as no active tag by the time the one gets added. Now this is an outbound one, which may be a little bit different. We have ours at the end here. But whatever you have as far as like where your leads are coming from, where they're talking to you at, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's SMS, whatever channel it is, and whether that's inbound or outbound, just add the tag on there and you should be good. So let's just do a quick example here. So I'll have Facebook and I'll have Instagram kind of tied into one here. Okay, so we just need a simple workflow saying that when something happens, add my active tag, right? When something happens, do something. And so the when something happens is going to be a customer replied. That's the event that we want to look out for so that we can add our active tag. And so just to preface on a workflow like this, just to show you on something like this would catch everything coming in from the Facebook page or the Instagram page. So you may want to have some sort of filter on that, or if you're just running AI totally like we do, something like this is great. But I'm just going to, so I have the customer replied here, reply channel. Facebook Messenger. All right, and I'm going to double it up here. You don't have to do individual workflows. Remember, the idea is always scalability. That's the fun part of AI, is how scalable it is. I mean, this whole company is ran by one person, right? Just by AI being able to scale. And so we'll do Facebook Activate here. I'll just name it just so you can visually see it. But it's still going to be the same thing. And then I will add another one, another customer applied, another event that we want to look out for. All right, and what event exactly? Well, Instagram DM. Perfect. And so when those two things happen, what do we want to do? Well, we want to add our active tag using add contact tag, which is activate Facebook and Instagram AI. That was the one we added in the portal. And so we'll say active tag just for representation here. So when either one of these two things happen here, activate my assistant. So we're going to publish that and we're going to save. And let's go ahead and test this out. We'll test it out in Facebook. We'll run a full conversation with booking, rescheduling, and canceling. And then we'll do the same thing in Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're not going to worry too much about verbiage here. We're not going to worry about too much of the cadence. It's going to be for later things. Again, we just want to test, make sure everything's good, booking, everything else. That way we can do the more complex stuff. Remember, keep it super simple. Do the foundations first. You can do the crazy stuff later. It's the easiest way. AI is hard enough, right? And we just want to make it as easy as possible. So I'm going to go ahead. Remember, our workflow says when someone messages us on Facebook or Instagram to add the active tag to respond. So I'm going to send the message here. This was a test I did a minute ago. So we'll see the conversation will come in here. We'll see it was from me. Boom. And our AI is responding. As simple as that, right? Super easy. 10-minute mark, we already have one responding and going to book an appointment. So you remember we said just book an appointment, don't do anything else. And it'll come through here. It's going to schedule it for a couple seconds later because of the delay we put on it. We can take that off though. Let's go ahead and go here again. Do not worry about this. Make sure your stuff's good, and then you can do the complex stuff later. Perfect. Let me see that came through. I'll say sure. And on Instagram, we'll do the same thing. I'm going to do this from my phone though because I'm logged into the company Instagram. So I will push that to the side for right now. All right. And remember, we just have this simple workflow. Now, if you were going to do something a little bit more complex, like you wanted to filter out stuff, you can use a keyword. It's kind of like what you see in some people's Instagram bio where they say, DM me this to get started, something like that. That's how they use keywords to filter out like different content from messaging platforms. But for just this example, this is just going to get us started here. Oops, sorry, there we go there. Okay, so can you give me your phone number and email? Okay, let's do this here. Email and phone number, this way I get the details sorted for you. Let's do and dubs at Flow Builder AI. There we go. And those should auto-populate in high level. Good to go there. And again, prompting, verbiage, anything like that, we can worry about later. No big deal, right? Those things can be done with things like the verbiage find and replace, and then the task-based framework is going to be the best way any AI, not just the system, I promise you, take my word for it, to get the AI focused and get it exactly what you need it to. That'll be in our more advanced stuff for you to go on there. So let's say, can you do this week or next week? Now we'll say next week. Why not? That way we'll book an appointment with this one, reschedule it, cancel it, and then we'll do the same thing in Instagram. Make sure everything's good to go, and make sure that it's doing everything it needs to. And again, don't worry about verbiage. Don't worry about the here there's. We can always do that later. Remember, we just need it working for our clients or for ourselves first, and then we can get fancy with it. Okay. So it went and checked our available time slots. Perfect. We've got an opening. How about a morning slot? Let's say, sure. So we're just going to get that booked. Once that's booked, we're going to reschedule it, and then we will cancel it. And so it's booking the appointment now. Perfect. So let's go ahead and cancel it. Can you cancel that appointment? Actually, let's reschedule. Can you reschedule for, what did it say on times? Actually, let's give it a little test, 6 p.m. Because some people may ask, well, what if it gives incorrect times and everything? And you'll see kind of that in play here of the understanding of being able to check your times and everything like that. Usually if something's not popping up, you're not seeing these tasks performs, or it's not giving coherent times to what you have in there, it's because you either didn't connect a calendar, you don't have the tools connected, or your OAuth wasn't set correctly. But those are all separate videos and triage videos, but you can see it has full contextual awareness of everything because of these tools, because of the calendar integration, makes it bulletproof cash money. All right. So let's say 3 p.m. But you can see even though, like I said, keep verbiage aside, we can do that later. But the contextual awareness of being able to do these separate things is always very, very strong because of the tools, because of the integration. All right, so our appointment's been successfully rescheduled. And I'll say, oh man, can you cancel that? I have a wedding to go to. Something like that, right? Just for funsies. You can see that each channel is denoted. And by the way, the assistant is multi-channel. So even though these videos are broken up by channel, of just building in activation and things like that, the assistants are multi-channel. You do not need a different active tag for each channel. You do not need a different, whatever for each channel. These assistants remember everything from every channel. They're fully multi-channel, even voice, right? And you'll be able to activate them in anyone, and as long as the lead is coming through and talking, it'll talk back and wherever they prefer. So we've been successfully canceled here. So I'll go to my contacts and we'll look at this one here. And we'll see that the appointment was booked for 10 a.m. It was rescheduled for 3 p.m. and it was canceled. And we can see all of that was done under one appointment. There was no second booking or anything like that. That's a true reschedule, true everything. AI is super intuitive, super easy to use. You can see, even though this video is 18 minutes long explaining it, going through the conversation, once you get good at these, they take 5 minutes to set up. And, once you really kind of get into the groove of things, 30 seconds to get a basic one set up and working for a client. So you can, it's the time to value for a client is almost instant, right? So that was Facebook. Let's go ahead and hop over to Instagram. I'm just going to use my phone here and let's test that in there. Okay, so I had to re-download Instagram. I don't keep it on my phone. I just keep it on the computer there. So let's go ahead and text in here. And again, that same workflow that we set up where it was anything that comes in from Instagram or Facebook, we're going to use that to add the active tag. All right, remember this one right here. All right, let's go back into our AI portal. I'll keep it on this one. We can get rid of that. All right, so let's go into our conversation. There we go. So there's my message from Instagram just now. Coming in, responding to me, just with that workflow. And again, you can use words, some way to filter it out. You can have one that just answers and then divvies out depending on things. Those are more advanced techniques. Those we'll cover later. Again, we just want this thing working. We just want it booking. Yes, can we book for this week? Trying to make it super simple or something, just for getting this thing going. But you can see, pretty easy to get everything set up. Completely multi-channel, makes everything super, super easy. All right, so let's go Jordan Dubs, give a random number. And Dubs at Doc.ai. So I'll go ahead and send that. Just give some random contact information there. And we'll go ahead and book with it. And then we'll reschedule and we'll cancel again. Same thing we did with the first one. Just want to make sure that everything is communicating, working well as it should. And then, we'll be good to go again. Don't worry about things like verbiage. Don't worry about the cadence of everything. We just want this working right now. We're going to keep it super, super simple. Remember, work on the foundations first. We can get crazy later, all right? So this thing's checking our available times. We can see that by bringing the task down here. And again, if you don't see this or you see it giving inconsistent times, it either means, one, you don't have a calendar connected. You'll see that by the big green text in the assistant. Or you didn't give it the tools to be able to do that, right? That'd be like giving a human a calendar but no hands to open it, right? So this sounds good. So let's say 9 a.m. sounds good. And we'll go ahead and book this here. And then once that's booked, we will reschedule and then cancel. Perfect. There you see it's booking now. Booked. And let's say, actually, can you reschedule for 1? And then we'll see if it reschedules us for the, one of the times it initially gave us there. And again, you notice in the Facebook test, if we ask for something out of its available times, you notice that it checks its times again to get the most accurate ones, and then goes to do whatever it needs to do. So there we go, scheduled for 1 p.m. and say, sorry, can you cancel? And just have it cancel again. We just want to make sure everything's doing exactly what we need it, what we want it to do. Boom, can you cancel? Perfect. Canceled. Good to go. All right, so let's go into our context here and let's make sure that everything looks the same in high level. So we see our conversation here. We see it was booked for 9 a.m. Rescheduled for 1. And then canceled. And we can see that here. It was all the same appointment. Didn't schedule 2 of them and delete the first one. It truly does know how to do these things. So hopefully that's helpful. I know 23 minutes, but we got to cover 2 channels there and kind of show you just a sanity check. Remember, keep it super simple as you test. Don't worry about getting too crazy with it. Don't worry about verbiage and anything just yet. Just make sure you can get this thing in there and get it working, get it talking, and then we can worry about the crazy stuff, which we'll have in later videos. So this should cover you on things like social media channels like Facebook and Instagram. We have the SMS, WhatsApp, third-party WhatsApp one. Those are all kind of congregated into one. Live chat one as well. And then the rest of the channels all kind of fall under the same cadence. Assistant active tag, you're good to go. You don't need a separate active tag for each one. Assistants are completely multi-channel, even voice, and on the next one, we'll do voice. Hope that's helpful.